Hi, I'm Indiana personal injury attorney David Holub. Injured railroad workers must sue for Federal Employers Liability Act FELA benefits. FELA claims are processed through a federal claim processing, whereas non-railway workers' compensation claims are governed by state law. FELA claims are complex, and a limited number of attorneys handle them. A 3-year statute of limitations applies to most FELA claims, allowing an injury victim 3 years to sue. But FELA cases can be complicated, and if a party other than the railroad employer shares fault for the injury, deadlines to sue can be much shorter. For example, suppose a worker is injured when a hydraulic hose bursts on a locomotive. The worker may be able to sue under FELA for up to 3 years, but suit against those who manufactured the hose, if a defect caused the hose to burst, must be typically filed in 2 years. There are some other differences to keep in mind. Standard workers' compensation claims typically permit a reduced weekly wage benefit, often 66% of their average weekly wage. But railroad FELA claimants may be entitled to 100% of their lost wages. Also, unlike standard workers' compensation claims, FELA claimants may be entitled to damages for pain and suffering. But there's a trade-off. Unlike no-fault workers' compensation laws, where the injured worker does not need to establish fault on the part of the employer, if you bring a claim under FELA, you must show that the railroad or its employees were negligent and caused your injuries. Railroad negligence can include failing to provide a reasonably safe work environment, providing unsafe equipment or tools, and failing to use needed safety devices. Failure to inspect the work environment to maintain a free of hazards workplace also may come into play, as may failure to properly train and supervise employees, or failure to enforce safety rules and regulations. If you would like to learn more about personal injury law, we encourage you to listen to our Personal Injury Primer podcast, where we break down the law into simple terms, provide legal tips, and discuss topics related to personal injury law.